Loading a large number of R packages can start to become really uh, painful when you have many different packages that you rely on for your work. And one of the biggest problems I've had and come up is when I move to a new machine or I update R. Because, I mean, as you can see right now, I mean, I'm even using a relatively old version of R 4.2, back from October of 2022. So, I mean, I need to probably update R, but I don't want to go through the rigmarole of updating R and having to reinstall all of my packages. So, to get around that, one thing that I've done is I've created a template R script that I use in almost all of my projects that just sits in the directory of my project folder that I will run whenever I start a new project, and it will make sure all the packages that I need for that project are up to date and available on the machine I'm currently using. So this is what it looks like for me. So what I do is I have this nice little like front matter that's not necessary, but for me it's a useful way of keeping track of what I'm working on. Basically just an information about what project I'm currently on, whether there's any co-authors that have really helped me with the code, especially, and then like kind of the date that I started the project, and then the last time I've modified this particular R script. And then who usually, if they have colleagues working on this with me as well, I instruct them to change the buy date as well. And then just I give a brief little summary about what's the purpose of this. Really, just to load all the packages, and there shouldn't really be anything new to about it. Anything that will be outputted from this, except for the environment is now set up. So what the very first part of this is just to basically clear everything that is in the workspace, which is rm list everything in R's memory. So whenever R runs this line, everything gets deleted and it starts fresh. Then I go through and list all the packages that I'm currently or think I will be using for that project. So a very common one is tidyverse, then a couple different packages for reading data. So like readr is really nice for reading in text files. Haven is really good for reading in kind of strange data formats such as SPSS or Stata files, or these kind of not necessarily uh, common data files, but also very prevalent at the same time. And then read Excel for Excel. And so you can just go through and just start listing all the different types of packages that you have. And what it'll do, what this script does, is it saves it into an object called packages. As you can see, there are a lot of different packages that I use. And now here's where the code starts to really get into the meat of it. What I have is this line 50 that goes through and says, hey, for the object packages, we're going to see which packages are not installed by saying, hey, which packages are installed, by saying, double check to see what packages are currently in the installed memory of R, then do the negation of that. So what this does is it selects all the packages that are new that need to be installed based on the current list and based on what your system currently registers. Then it will install if there's any new packages. Then it goes through and loops around that entire list and then loads them into the environment with library. Last thing, this is a little something extra that I do, is I will have just like to save a little object to get my working directory in case I need it. Now, how do I use this? So typically what I do with my colleagues is I will give uh, I will use markdown files to either create a Word or a PDF file. So let's just do a Word file. And what I'll do is in this setup, what I do is I do source load packages.R. And what this does is what R will do is it will, whenever I knit this, I need to save it. Save my file now. And so what I am doing now, because load packages is just in my that R file, R script is just in my current directory. What it's going to do is whenever it runs this file, it will look to see, hey, I'm going to source that R script. So it's going to go into here, go up to the top, and run this whole file. And when we knit this file, R is going to think for a second. Hopefully, it won't have to think for too long, since I don't think there's any new packages at the moment. But then it'll be thinking. It's running that setup chunk. It's thinking. It's thinking. Oh, it's compiling. And then I get my Word file out. And what you'll notice is that there is no evidence that that file ran, but we know it has. That's the power of it, is that I can run and load all of those packages without having to have any visible impact on my code and my objects, so that I can then share that script with people, or that those results more easily. But in general, the nice part is just having a nice, concise script to be able to hold all of my R packages, and I can easily load and install them with wherever I'm going. Thank you very much. Let me know if you have any questions.